Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live. We're dressing up for the season. I'm good old Killery, bringing back an old classic because it's that time of year where we bring in the Pickle Gallery joining us today.
Love, bro.
Good.
Love. Once y'all come in the chat, man, make sure y'all get y'all complimentary rock bottle on baby oil. You know what I mean? It's nothing but love. It's all love. All right.
It's all love.
All love.
How'd you get out?
You know,
you get to come and go.
Who say I'm out? Who say I'm out? I just got to schedule a freak off tonight. There's a lot of freaks in here. You know? I enjoyed it.
It was silent. You got to put the horse head on.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot. Sorry.
He godfathered himself.
That's right. You godfathered yourself before we even started. All right. With that being said, let me bring in my co-host, my good friend, David Cunningham. Godzilla, how you doing?
You know, I'm about ready to destroy a city. I probably should be drinking a Manhattan instead of cold beer. But, you know, I one of the few times I wished we had like a co-host camera so we can see the hodgepodge of half-assed, but also fairly funny costumes here in front of us. So we got a full studio here tonight, which makes this a little bit extra special today.
Can we get the alien in here?
Yeah, get in here. Get in here.
Get your mobility. Just so we could get a flavor of like what's going on.
Shockingly, you'll be able to be in frame.
This is one of the, but that's why you got to hang on to the end of the episode because we're playing Friendly Feud as always. And just the cast of characters we got.
Did you look at that?
Just a couple of lizards hanging out. What can we say? Just the Clintons together again. All right. So, again, that being said, on the keys as always is Dougie Fresh. Doug, how you doing?
Oh, just dandy for this pre-Halloween get-together.
Doug funny. Can Doug be funny?
Well, you know, I think I am, and my name is Doug, so you know what? I am pretty damn close to this costume.
Well, you're not. You're missing the mark right off the bat. All right. That being said, let's get the episode started. First topic of the day. Subway is being sued for, quote, grossly misleading ads for sandwiches bursting with meat. So a lawsuit accuses Subway of grossly misleading customers by advertising sandwiches that contain at least 3 times as much meat as it delivers. So according to a proposed class action filed on Monday in federal court, this was in Brooklyn, Subway ads for its steak and cheese show, it says that its meat is bursting within and reaching as high as the surrounding hero bread, whatever that means. But because, again, we'll get to it, but their bread isn't even legally bread. In reality, according to several photos in the complaint, Subway sandwiches are far more bread than filling. So if the selling point is that the meat bursts beyond the bread, there might actually be a claim here. This is especially concerning, says the complaint itself, because the inflation and high food prices are causing many lower income consumers to struggle financially. The lawsuit, this young lady from Queens said she paid $7.61 for a steak sandwich at a local Subway, not realizing that the fast food chain's ad showed the sandwich contained at least 200% more meat. Now, here's what's interesting. Similar lawsuits filed in the same court have been against McDonald's, Wendy's, and Taco Bell. All have been dismissed this year. So the Subway case represents an egregious example of the type of advertising that these law firms are trying to stop. And another similar lawsuit against Burger King is pending in federal court. So before I break it down any further, Godzilla, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's definitely not as appetizing as King Kong, but definitely I might try to do this every single time you mention it. But,
I hope not.
You know, this is kind of an example of some of these frivolous lawsuits. I think there is an example of like advertisements is a bit more of, I think we've established before, especially with food advertisements, it's a bit exaggerated reality of the actual product that we get. Now, in some of these fast food scenarios, the reality versus the advertisement is, ooh, it's sad. Like, if you ever just unwrap a Subway sub and just like as you're watching a commercial of a Subway sandwich, ooh, that's not that's not exactly what I ordered, nor is it quite as appetizing. This also reminds me of the lawsuit where someone like measured like 100 subs. They weren't actually a foot long. They were like 10.5 inches or 11 inches. That I think had a lot more standing than this one necessarily does.
Well, I piggybacking off of that, this isn't like the first run-in Subway has had with the law. People have tried suing them for how their bread is legally classified as cake, but for some reason they still get to call it bread. It was taken that their tuna, take it to a DNA sampling center, and it's not even tuna. It's like mystery fish. So they're giving you cheap knockoff fish, calling it tuna.
Yep.
And if those lawsuits can't prevail, you're not going to find much success here. But one thing I'd want to throw out to launchpad the conversation is when you look at like the filming of a McDonald's ad, 90% of it's like wax and plastic.
Oh, yeah.
How is that legal? Like if I'm selling you a tractor and I bring in a faux tractor to sell the tractor, we would find that totally grossly negligent. And however, the food we consume and like pollute our body, like we're calling things meat, they're not even legally meat. Going to Taco Bell, having lawsuits. It's like, at the same time, how sad is it that something like Taco Bell is like the healthiest amongst these fast foods?
Well, the Taco Bell being the healthiest fast food statistic is mostly attributed to just the general taco is less caloric than anything else. Like, let's
so
just go down
you just have 10 of them to compensate for your one Big Mac.
Not a normal. Well, a normal person's probably not having 10, maybe 4 or 5. But even so, the average item in Taco Bell isn't as caloric as like the average item on a McDonald's. Or if you remember the salads were actually more unhealthy for you, like calorie wise, than any of the Big Macs were, just based purely on just the raw calories in this whole thing. So I don't buy a whole lot of this. The bread thing too is interesting because it's just the amount of sugar really. And when you're making laws, you gotta define. You got to define it one way or the other, and you got to draw a line. And it's like, well, I guess you have 1 more gram of sugar here. It's not technically bread. It's something, I guess, cake, pastry.
Do you really think the divider here is a gram of sugar?
I don't think it's a gram of sugar, but it's probably
what shill corporate like sellout has stepped into your space.
Hey, I live amongst the skyscrapers, so I do get a better appreciation of the corporate structure.
Cake bread,
but I never liked that just because you call pizza bread. Most people would consider pizza dough like dough of a bread, and you make pizza bread. But there's a lot of sugar in most pizza breads because you need the yeast to rise. There's sugars in a lot of breads. Yes, they just put a bit more sugar in there because it helps preserve, and people like sweet stuff in general. So that never really the tuna thing. That's a bit more egregious than the bread.
I could agree because what are definitions but like lawyers drawing lines that are mostly artificial,
especially with a baked ingredient when there's just thresholds of amount of there's amount of ingredients that you can like tortillas technically bread because it's just flour, water, maybe a little bit of sugar, but like the tuna thing, I'm selling tuna, it's actually just something else,
right?
Mystery fish, some like to call it. That's a lot more egregious.
Flipping it to the pickle gallery, what do you guys think? Silent, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the thing about like tuna and things that you eat that come in a can or in a box or from a fast food place, you really can never know what exactly is in it because they can say one thing and it can be completely something different. And you can never really know because it's all like processed usually in like different facilities that are processing different things that may come in contact with other things too. So I think your best bet is if you're actually going to eat fast food, just lower your expectations. And just don't actually believe that any of it is nutritious because it's not. Because most of it is just highly processed, for-profit, just crappy food that's made in the most cost-effective manner allowed, and as much fillers and other stuff that they can get away with as the FDA will allow them to. So just keep that in mind if you do eat fast food.
It's like that cheap, fast, good triangle. You can only pick 2. When it comes to your food. So fast food, obviously, cheap and fast. It's not good.
That's fair. Yeah, who would have thought something with quality would take like time and energy to
like you know what they say if it's worth getting, it's worth getting quickly.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
You know, I know all about love, right? And Subway don't put love in their food. You know what I mean? They never put love in their food. They're processed. Everything in Subway is processed except for the veggies. And sometimes you have to question the veggies because they don't be looking so good. I never trust Subway. Uh, I never knew of them being healthy, even when they say eat fresh, because ain't no love. It's processed. Like, where's the love? It don't even make sense. Like, everything processed. The meat comes frozen. It's salami. Like, they just been lying to everybody for years. Jared was a liar. They're all liars. So the fine line they're trying to define, people, if he can go somewhere and get something less than 5 minutes, more than likely it ain't the best food for you. It's just a quick meal, you know what I mean? And you shouldn't live on quick meals. That ain't love.
That ain't love.
Man, Diddy's spitting facts here today. How insightful.
He should put that into a song. It might be so better than what you've already got out. Now, I want to hone in on a couple things. At what point do you draw the line for the public to be able to collect on a lawsuit, right? I don't know if you recall, when we were in college, long time ago, Red Bull lost a lawsuit for the fact that it doesn't in fact give you wings, and everybody got like a case of like free Red Bull. And this would be something similar. I'm sure the buyout would be everybody could go collect on a free sandwich between like 3 weeks or something. It would be a heavy cost, but it isn't going to be something like, you're not going to become a millionaire off of this. So you look at somebody that paid, what was it, $7.86, or you're paying $8.
Yeah, pretty
like,
much.
A lot of this is measured on damage. So it should cost Subway that there was a tiny bit of damage across a lot of people, but you yourself are not going to financially benefit much from something that cost you $8 and you probably should have seen 25 cents more meat. Also, it comes back. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little funny story. Between law school and college, I worked at AT&T, or I had AT&T and I worked at Sprint. These folks would come in bitching at me. Boy, this sucks. This service is the worst. And I'm like, we are at Sprint. Like, what the hell did you expect? You walked out with like 3 free lines. So you get what you pay for. I'm selling you Sprint lines with AT&T in my pocket, knowing this is dog shit. And you're still surprised when your calls drop. So similarly, when your kidney fails, but you made a meal of $8 2-minute sandwiches, where's the shocker here?
Yeah, no, I that point I agree with you a bunch, and I think that's where this might be a rare take for me. This is where I think capitalism should just take over in vice of the government. The government really shouldn't be. Yeah, you over exaggerate your advertisements a little bit, and it just looks more appetizing than it actually is. That's not exactly a crime. And the free market should be able to decide, well, all right, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, okay, well, maybe I don't actually care about how much meat's in this, and I'm just eating Subway because, I don't know. I actually don't know why, but there isn't. I don't think there's a whole lot of room for these types of frivolous lawsuits. This just slows down everything. Slows down innovation. It makes everything more expensive. This type of garbage it just makes everything worse. And now they're like, well, we're getting sued all these times, so we have to raise price a little bit to compensate for it. Or probably they should be suing on, and they did, but the tuna thing, that's a lot. That's really something you should be suing on. I don't want to be eating imitation fish when I'm expecting tuna. That I think is a bit more egregious than, well, there's kind of should be a bit more meat in this than
well, and again, what is the thing that you're disgruntled about beyond I just want more, I don't like, inflation. You're mad at inflation more than you are Subway.
Yeah.
Doug, funny, you got something to say?
do. David said like this lawsuit will affect innovation. How is Subway helping innovation is my question to David's point there. Like, this lawsuit is crazy, but is this a lawsuit that's really stopping innovation? No.
Well, I don't think this is necessarily focused on Subway in general, but the more people are just throwing these frivolous lawsuits out there, the less you're just going to take these types of, I don't want to say risks, but the less you're going to kind of do some of these different things and just kind of play it very simple, keep it fresh. I don't know. but you're definitely, that is one thing to calculate in when you're a national brand. It's like, well, all right, well, I'm going to get 5 of these lawsuits. How am I going to react? Should I raise prices? Should I just not do it? So there could be like, something like the Doritos Locos Taco. I think most of us enjoy that particular item on the Taco Bell menu. Someone sued, like, well, it's not actually a Dorito. It's just kind of a dusting with cheese on it or something like that. That's when you start kind of making these things not worth anyone's time. You're trying to get
right. And here's the thing. I think if you were going to, the Marble Room, right? You're going to a 5-star restaurant and here comes fake bread. Yeah. Okay. Now you've got a complaint, but at the same time, did it taste good? And here's a weird thing with food. Like if you don't like it, you don't have to you could send it back and you don't have to, like that's at a restaurant. And if you're at Subway, it was an $8 learning lesson. Yep. You don't go back. So when I'm growing up and it's telling me it's fresh, I'm eating it. Then there was a Subway in this shopping center and funny story. So we're catching rent from the guy. He's an Arab gentleman. Where's Muhammad? They're like, not here. Okay. Got rent. Nobody asked questions. For literally 9 years, 3 ladies ran that pretending Muhammad was here. He got deported. Then Subway found out, the franchise was like, whoa. Where's Muhammad? And they're like, not here and not in America. So the Subway franchise pulled and they found so many egregious health violations. Yeah. And so I was tasked with ripping out the drywall and stuff. When you're in there and you're seeing the food, just picture a tub, like a plastic tub of pickles, tomatoes, onion. It's not real. It's not like I'm dicing up an onion. Yeah.
I can second that. I was with him. It was miserable.
And again, there's a wall of these ingredients. Eat fresh. Okay. When you have that life experience, you go, I'm kind of done with Subway. Then you start reading that their bread isn't bread. You're like, yeah, you know what? It actually doesn't slap every time. Sometimes it's kind of like styrofoam.
Yeah.
But you know what? It tastes good. Okay, so does cake sometimes. So it makes sense. The fish not being fish. All of this we know. So if you still showed up today and was like, but the picture, I got the same thing, just it feels lighter. It feels less. That's a you problem. Because how many times do we get have you ever seen a Big Mac next to a real Big Mac?
Oh, yeah.
They don't look the same anymore. No. So there's something to, what you're paying for. And I'm sorry, I don't want to lose track of what I think is the bigger point here, which is your picture should be of the product that I'm purchasing. So if you sit here and make some doctored up plastic creation in a studio and you're telling me that's the burger I'm getting at the window, that should be illegal. I'm going to let you spray with water and do some effects, but that should be the burger that I'm buying. And just like if it's the car that I'm buying, you can't use a toy car and try to sell me the real car. You gotta use the product. So to me, I think the bigger falsehood is, why do you get to CGI a sandwich that looks bigger and meatier than what I'm actually getting? And the real point is, who cares about how less full it is than what I would normally get? It's that you doctored up a photo. It's kind of like Kim K. You're not even the thing in your Instagram. So at what point, but hey, you still buy the magazine. So
it's the consumers really that are at fault here for this. But I don't necessarily blame a company that wants to put their product in the best spotlight ever, especially when there's several different renditions of people all over the United States and the world making the same product. So it's not going to be consistent and equal every single time. So I as a company, I want to put out the best face of this product. It's the most idealized version it can be. Is it going to be real 99% of the time? No, but I bet there's maybe 1 or 2 Subways in the world where, God damn it, it does look as good as it does on the advertisements.
All right, let's start landing this plane. Silent, what are your rapid thoughts?
If you want a real Subway, go to your local sub place. If you want an actual real sandwich, or even go to Jersey Mike's. They just opened one here recently in Canada for the first time in a few years, and they opened one a couple years ago. And it's way better because at least they cut the vegetables in front of you and they slice the meat right in front of you, and it's actually real. So yeah, I would say just remember that when you go to eat fast food, you're literally eating unknown things, and you have to be okay with that. Otherwise, just don't eat fast food. And that goes not just for Subway, but for all of fast food, really, in general.
For
Jersey
sure.
Mike's is awesome, though.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Jersey Mike's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Ricky, what are your
Absolutely.
rapping thoughts?
Rapid thought. My dad was vegetarian, ate Subway, but even him knew Subway was bad for you. It was just always just a quick little meal. So if a vegetarian knew Subway is bad for you, you can't live on Subway. Do better, people. It's a fast food place. That ain't love.
Take it from a starving vegan. Wrapping thoughts for me is there is something to be said about how we present the item versus the item itself that we receive when we purchase it. But unfortunately, that's not the conversation being had here. I'm going to piggyback off of what you said earlier. I think the more egregious thing that Subway is at fault for is, like, I don't know, faking tuna.
Yeah.
And if we didn't see federal lawsuit, settlements in that case, you're not going to see it in the meat not stacking as high as the bread. So I'm going to flip it to you for your wrapping thoughts.
Yeah, we very rarely in kind of the corporate structure have we ever seen someone successfully sue over false advertising that wasn't just painfully egregious on a very small kind of almost like claims court level. These things never seem to stick, and it just seems to waste everybody's time. I do wish if there was an opportunity to sue over something that was a bit more impactful, like maybe health concerns or like additives or just like process bits that are actually in some of these foods. I wish we could sue over that and win, but based on some of this legal track record, I don't see it happening in the near future without some very dramatic governmental change.
Dougie, wrapping thoughts.
I'm not surprised Subway's getting sued again because, as we talked about, we all know their issues that they've had. But I wish it would stand because I would like people to, like fast food places like Chipotle, who keeps making my bowls smaller and smaller, be afraid that we might be able to win and take them for something.
All right, getting to our last topic before we jump into Friendly Feud. Norway's trillion-dollar man believes America's attitude towards failure is helping propel the nation ahead of its European counterparts, saying that Americans work harder than Europeans, where workers may have a better work-life balance but aren't as ambitious. Nikolai Tangen leads Nordic Behemoth, it's a weird name, Behemoth, Norges Bank Investment Management, which governs the revenue earned by Norway's oil and gas resources with the aim of ensuring its benefits are distributed fairly between current and future Norwegian generations. Under his leadership since 2020 and over the past decade, $1.6 trillion in his fund has invested more and more heavily in the United States instead of its closer neighbors in Europe. And it's no coincidence. America's performance, particularly in innovation, is worrisome in contrast to Europe. Tangen told the Financial Times. He furthered that it goes deeper than just the difference between these two countries on a general level of ambition. We're not very ambitious. I should be careful about talking about work-life balance, but Americans just work harder. Data suggests that he's right, but only by a fine margin. According to European Union, in 2022, the average work week of people between the ages of 22 and 65 was 37 and a half hours. The longest working weeks were recorded in Greece at 41 hours and Poland at 40 hours. By contrast, the Netherlands had the shortest work week of 33 hours, followed by Germany, which is like the highest end of engineering in the world, 35 hours. Meanwhile, the same data from the International Labor Organization suggests that Americans on average work 38 hours. So, keeping that all in mind, the UK has a statutory requirement that has entitled staff to 28 paid days leave. America doesn't. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average employee who is in their first year of service takes 8 PTO days. So the interesting balance here is we don't require it, but we're still getting it at a fair rate in comparison. And there's a little bit more, but I'm going to flip it to you to at least start breaking it down.
Oh, this one's a loaded one. Whenever I see these types of statistics, I always have to wonder a couple different things. So I like to bring up two different examples. So let's like the Scandinavian countries. They're very not very diverse, whatever the opposite of that is. they culturally are pretty much all going the same way. It's almost more akin to like a nice suburb in an area where everyone, like a nice school district, everyone kind of understands the rules of the game and kind of understands how they want to live life, and that's just their culture. So is it necessarily looked well, if you work a bunch, like, yeah, that's great and wonderful. We're not exactly, we don't celebrate you for that. Unlike here, where we do celebrate quite a bit, quite a bit of like working hard. It's some people's entire personality is how many hours they work on their job, whether they're good at it or not. That's definitely one of the things that some people pride themselves on here. And I want to go all the way to our friends over, my friends over in Japan. They work a ton, like an absolute ton, because the country will shame you into not working. There's this whole diatribe with the older managerial folks will stay long because their older managerial folks stay long, and it just keeps going down the chain where no one's allowed to leave until like the upper, like tippy top guy leaves. Then it goes down a slow chain. So like, are they actually getting more done when you're quote unquote working, or you're just staying in the office for a while, or you're just twiddling your thumbs over in a construction site? Some of these productivity numbers are just a little bit skewed, just because we're such a big country. We got a lot of people in comparison to some of these European countries who don't quite have, we're the size of maybe one or two states, and that's about it. So these numbers I always take with a bit of grain of salt on like full other numbers, but there definitely is something to say that the American work culture is more work focused than most of the European countries.
Well, and it's interesting. These are the countries that we point to for our, anecdotal statistics, right? Their work week, their parental leave, like, fathers get to take off X amount of days here. And we point to small little countries, and most of the dialogues were willing to acknowledge that they get away with it because they're a small country. Yep. And if we had such small communities, we'd be able to, use social welfare programs at the rate that they do. But I want to come back to kind of this gentleman who's in charge of really much the centerpiece of Norway's financial economy. Yeah. He's looking at the world saying, we need to be more like them. They work the hardest. And if you are going to point to, Poland, because they have the shortest work week, or they have, parental days off that you wish you had. Also, like, where's their innovation? I'm waiting for them on the moon. Where are they at? There's so many things that, like, when I went to Dubai and we're sitting there and, we spent a week, we're meeting with CEOs of billion-dollar businesses. They're trying to rebuild an economy where oil is leaving. And you want to ask, like, what do they have beyond just a nice sky rise? Yeah. Because between all the sky rises, it's just desert. It's nothing. And when you sit back, and there was a night we're sitting back, he's smoking hookah, we're looking at the buildings, and he goes, yeah. Okay, so they built a cool building that twists. Do you see beyond it? The moon? We've been to the moon. And so if you could point to any of those countries and they've been a centerpiece in the evolution of medicine, or the iPhone in your pocket, or the internet itself, they just said, thank you, we'll benefit. So there's something to the fruits of competition. Now, I brought this up, on the podcast itself. I was talking to this gentleman who's an economist, and he really couldn't answer the question for me either. When you build you build an entire system, a game. Okay, the name of the game is Monopoly. We're playing capitalism. What's interesting is the guy who built or created the game Monopoly literally created it to prove that if you perform capitalism to its entirety, it always ends with one person owning everything. Yeah. That was the whole purpose of the game Monopoly. And that's kind of the game we're playing. Okay, so you created this game. All right, guys, we're dishing out the money, and the name of the game is Monopoly. And then you look at somebody like Jeff Bezos, and they're like, whoa, you're winning way too much. Dial it back. It's like, wait, you don't get all the benefits, all the fruits of the society that has this competition, that creates this evolution in your technology, in your medicine, in your social, your culture. And then damn it for its creation. So the admission here is you got to find the perfect balance, something that's a little bit social welfare that brings that back keeps a balance so we don't just end up with a monopoly game where one guy owns the whole board. But at the same time, we got to agree, when you start creating systems that don't have that competition, like even a capitalistic European country, when you start opening the door to complacency, human nature is they're going to fall into it immediately. Now, I'm going to flip it to the pickle gallery. Silent, what do you think?
I think honestly, at the end of the day, like it's one of those things, like you said, where it's just a big cultural difference, because in Europe, the pace over there is just slower, right? It's just the way they work, the way they collaborate with each other, the way they try to problem solve. It's just not as like quick, and hustle and grind culture is not really much of a thing over there. At least, when I went there, that's what I observed too. So I'm not really surprised that the CEO said that Americans are way more productive than Europeans, because yes, the numbers may show that like we slightly are more productive, but I would say, or I would argue that this hustle culture that we have here in North America, specifically in the US, it's basically what's fueled like modern, like you said, modern inventions that changed people's lives, like the iPhone, like, like going to the moon, like the internet, like BlackBerry recently from Canada. It's probably our only innovation since Shopify. And things like that, right? Like things where we kind of have like the Silicon Valley environments here, the little pockets of like tech and innovation here that always are changing the world via software or hardware or a combination of both. Whereas Europe doesn't really have that much of a, I guess, let's change the world culture. It's more so, let's just do this when we do this. We'll get to it when we get to it. Not so much as, oh my God, time is passing by. Come on, guys, let's go. Samsung's beating us. We got to crank out the new iPhone, And I think it's just basically goes down to the culture in Europe is very different in each European country, and just on the continent overall versus on the continent, like between Canada, US, and even I would say Mexico. We just have a hustle and grind culture here that they just don't have in Europe.
I can appreciate that. Yo, Mr. Love, what are your thoughts on this?
Love, all love. But like, why you just do a broader study? Because if you look in the Asian community, like, and they put in work for cheaper, and that ain't love. America is the culture. America is built off hard work. People come here, grind for their families, send back home. That's what America is known for. But other than, you should have looked at Asia. We working over here. We spreading love. Look in Asia and compare yourself to the Asians, because they breaking it back too.
Facts. So I want to flip one thing to you, David, and to the crew in the convo. It goes a little further. So Mr. Tangent here also kind of has a comment about CEOs. Despite admiring the work ethic of staffers in the U.S., Tangent has made it clear he doesn't agree with the extreme pay packages handed to execs. Last year, he told Fortune that CEOs who earn more than, say, $20 million a year are enriching themselves on our behalf, and it's daylight robbery. Now, here's what's convenient. He doesn't make over 20 million a year. So it's like, if you were being given a $40 million package and you gave 20 million back, man, you're an admiral guy and you get to have this dialogue. But we also know you're a human being. And once you're given a $40 million package, you're going to go, well, the CEOs that take a $60 million package are just pigs. So you really only got something to say about it because you yourself are not getting a package that large. And let's say in the grand scheme of folks making $60,000 and can't find comfort, you're also making way too much. We should suck from the rich. You're the rich. So it's just convenient that he has like the comment he has. And it comes back to the point I was making before. It's like, but that's also the competition that makes it worth it. I guarantee the companies he's pointing at and is going, that payout package is too high. I guarantee their annual budget, salary, profit margin, triple what you're making. So, like, one, that's why tariffs, all the conversations about tariffs, that's why that has such an implication, why it has such an effect. We are the centerpiece of your economy. You want to work with us. So part of this is leveraging, and I want to emphasize, take a look at why these things why we're able to leverage it, because there is financial power here. So while he has the comment about our packages being higher, I wouldn't be surprised if the percentage of what they're taking profit-wise is still smaller than the profit margin you're sucking from your company. It's just that our profit margins are so much higher.
No, I don't. I don't necessarily disagree on the. If you kind of look at it from space here, or as tall as me, I think where the issues come from is the incentive structure of how these CEOs get paid. 'Cause it's not just like Roger Goodell, who makes $50 million a year working for the NFL as the CEO, the spokesperson, what have you. That's great. That's wonderful. He's probably worth that. The NFL is constantly in the news and the media, so I don't necessarily mind that. However, I think most of the CEOs that we could probably point to that are just awful have the incentive structure as well. Your pay is based on the stock price. So I'm going to do everything in my power to juice the stock price, like the Warner Brothers CEO who's selling off things, not releasing movies. He's doing all these shenanigans just so stock prices can look all right, so then he can get his packages, because that's just the incentive structure. If it was just $10 million, do the best job, we'll evaluate you at the end of the year, and it's based on 5 or 6 different metrics, not just stock price, but all sorts of different brand evaluations, we probably see a lot different behavior out of these CEOs. But it's all just incentive based where they're coming from. So I don't necessarily mind. You can make $1 billion a year as a CEO as long as you're worth that. But if you're stepping on people along the way, or just tanking the brand, tanking everything that people love about whatever's going on in this company, you're not worth it. You're just juicing your own greed. But there is, also, if you're a shareholder, all I care is about the stock price, right? I care about dividends, stock price. That's it. I don't care how the employees feel. I don't care about brand value, because I can just sell this bitch and move on my way. So there's a little bit of A and there's a little bit of B with some of these CEOs. I think probably to get a better example is to look at private corporation CEOs and see how they're running things. I think their incentive structure is a lot different versus some of these these actual multinational corporations.
Oh, for sure. Let's start landing this plane, because I got a couple thoughts myself. First, Silent, can you tell us, what are your wrapping thoughts?
I think at the end of the day, all of the differences between the continents will show. Time will tell which one is going to be more productive and more innovative, because we can all observe or say certain things, but at the end of the day, the results are what will speak for the respective continents and countries, right?
So let me ask you this, okay? You're somebody in Canada. You've got an outside perspective. I'd be curious of addressing it head on, right? Would you prefer, you've got universal health care, but you also can't get health care when you need it in an emergency. So there's this balance of, well, there's a more welcoming, happy, loving society, but on the flip side, the innovation may not be there, but it's nowhere near as comfortable. So kind of, what are your thoughts on that dynamic? What is your preference? Part of my wrapping thought is going to get to a point where this isn't a place where people are wishing they weren't. Everybody's dying to get here, but we're telling you it's hard work. So why is everyone still dying to get here? Yeah. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that dynamic where it isn't comfortable, but man, the fruits are juicy?
I think that's the big misconception that people have. They think that, money's growing on trees in the US, but like you said, it's extremely difficult to make it in the US, whether you want to start your own company or whether you want to work for somebody else. It's not going to be a cakewalk like people think it is. But some people would actually just rather that, right? There's a lot of people that literally will try to kill themselves just to work at McDonald's and just to be in the US. There's a lot of people, millions of people, that actually do that. Or to work at a farm in Southern California or something like that. It's one of those things where a lot of people just want to be here because it's much safer than where they're coming from. It's much more stable. The currency is the global reserve currency. So when they convert it back to their home currency, it's worth a lot more. So I would say, like, from an outside perspective, the best thing about coming to the US is when you do make it, the system is built in such a way that you are going to be the top benefiter of this system. That's why a lot of people want to try to come here to try to get really rich, because when you're really rich, this system works really well for you. And I think that's what a lot of people want to try to come to the US or to Canada to try, is to try to become really rich and try to, actually make it. But like you said, it's not easy. It's very hard. Millions of people are trying to become rich here. So the question you want to ask yourself is, what makes me different from everybody else that's trying to come in here? And what makes me part of the bigger picture? Like, how can I join the big innovators, the Apples, the Googles, the FANG, the Silicon Valley, the big companies that are actually the SpaceX that are changing the world? And I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing. Like, how hard or how badly are you willing to work for it? And do you have the right mindset to fit into that kind of continuous nonstop work? We're going to keep doing this until we get it done. And that's not for everybody, It's really
not. That's why I'm going to trample over your back, and you're not allowed to ask for any of it. Ricky, Daddy Love, what are your thoughts?
Daddy Love.
It goes to what Silent said. When people come to America, right? And maybe this goes into the study, whatever he's showing, like Americans work a lot. There's a lot of foreigners here. They put in the hours, maybe working 2-3 jobs. It's not for them. It's for their offspring. So they don't have to do the 2-3 job. They can be relaxed, go to college, and be the innovators and help America overall. So it's not everybody, because the younger generation that's going to come up from the hardworking parent is going to see that they don't want to put in all them hours, going to try to better themselves in life to get, better pay with less hours. So America is for the working hard. It's for the opportunity. If you come here, you got to bust your ass. It ain't for the easy. When I thought of America, I thought it was gold bricks, but nope. You got to come here and bust your ass to get your own gold, to make your brick road. That's love.
It's those red lights, man. That's love.
Hey, I gotta set the mood, man. Shining, glistening.
It's the only reason. It's the only way people are accepting that lube. Now, my rapid thought is going to be this: incentives, right? People talking about incentives. You don't have to be here, and people want to be here. So here's the thing: if the complaint is we're not letting enough people in, then maybe we need to start having a real conversation about who should want to come here. Like, here's the thing. As Silent Destroyer was given his breakdown, I mean, it's not made for everybody. Here's the sad part is we've got complacent, lazy, comfortable people that want the fruits of all the people around them. I want the flashy cars. I want the house. I want the girls. I want the clubs. But I really don't want to do any of the things to get it. So, okay. You're going to the garden. You're going to the place of all the fruits. Unfortunately, the fruits just aren't free for the picking. Here's the rule, social contract. You're welcome to come to our garden. You also have to plant in the garden. So if you come here and you start sprouting out juicy fruits, you get to have like a little piglet. Help yourself to everything our garden has to offer. On the flip side, if you're not planting anything and you're not enriching the garden at all, we waved you, and there's a harsh truth here. There's a safety net for the lazy folks of Europe. It's if you don't want to, we'll get you to the finish line. It may take you 3 weeks to get into a doctor with your broken leg, but we'll get you there, and that's kind of the world you're going to be in. Going back to the point I wanted to make, is Silent was talking about that. I'm sitting there going, what would I really like? And maybe it's because I've blossomed and grown in this intense environment. And now, like, I know that I have a meeting with the mayors tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And yet I got to get this episode done for tomorrow morning. I put it off. There's just too much. I will work till the wee hours, 3, 4 a.m. and Silent, I wouldn't have it any other way. There's probably a point in my life at 50 years old where it's gone, you missed out on all that sleep. It was futile. Nobody even knows your name. And yet I would still say 10 times over, if I put in all of that work somewhere else, I still see none of the fruits. So this is the rat race. I'm trained and bred now to run. And I couldn't imagine any other community beyond one that has me running full capacity. That way, when I am throwing my own white party and we've got lubes galore, it's because I earned it. And I put all of the efforts into it. And that's the cheese that keeps this rat running. I don't know. I think this is a beautiful place that has a lot of problems, but everywhere else has problems. This is the only place where we get to see problems and actually work to changing them and fixing them. Everywhere else is like, man, I really don't like that I don't have food, Venezuela. And they're like, either leave or fight over a chicken bone. That's what we got for you. And the dictator that runs the joint is not going away. So the beauty here is, at least where I see problems, I can be a part of the change that I want to see. And on the flip side, this is where all the fruits are. And we just need to start having a real dialogue about how you obtain those fruits. And it isn't just for signing up or being born on this land. It's that you planted something in my garden and we all get the benefits of the fruits. Rapid thoughts.
Oof, all right, a lot to follow up on that one. But I think there is, I'm going to take it back to the other point here, where I think different cultures definitely do aspire different things as far as like the working relationships between the people in the countries. I still think there's something to be said that when we think about Europe as a whole, we always seem to pick and choose what the best parts of. Well, I really like the way Denmark does this, or I really like the way Germany does that, and it's never taken as a whole. We assume just America's as a whole, but obviously there's different states that do different things. Like the working the working culture in like Florida, Georgia is a little bit different than it is in New York, or there's just a bit of a different dynamic with these things. So it's not all just taken as a specific whole. We are the sum of our parts. However, it's those parts that are a little bit different than just necessarily, we're not just one entity here. So I think there is definitely something to be said too about the way companies and those with the means are able to dictate the terms of engagement when it comes to kind of your working life. Because there's certain, I think there's certain jobs you don't need to be there as long as you have to be. Or there's certain jobs, I can do this from home. We don't need to do this. I can still be just as productive, just as focused, and just as good at my house or working 5 less hours than I would be in something else. And I think that's just a bit of a dialogue we have to see in ourselves. It cuts both ways. We're very productive, but at the same time, it can lead to depression or just, being unfulfilled. And we see a lot of that right now.
That's so true. Dougie, rapid thoughts.
America, F yeah.
Thanks, Doug. Get it off of me, you jackwagon. All right, can you start So, David, we're going to start transitioning to Family Feud and Friendly Feud. We just got sued.
Friendly Feud.
We're playing Friendly Feud, and we're going to transition into the set here. The conversation we're going to have as we transition into Friendly Feud, the winning question last year, which is not involved this year, is at what age should somebody stop trick-or-treating? So I'm going to flip it to everybody in the room. David, man the conversation as we transition.
So I'm going to start here. I think there's definitely something to be said about, like, if you're very young and very old. I think you need to take a break in between ages. Once you hit almost a teenager, I think the last year is 12. You're 12 years old, you're done. All right, you're out of elementary school. You're done.
David,
take
for
a
all
break.
the adults, I got all the tricks and the treats, bro. For all the adults, you know what I mean?
And I think there's a time you can come back. When you're like 50, I think you can go trick-or-treating again. No one wants to see a teenager or a young adult or even like a mid-adult trick-or-treating just by themselves or in a pack. The last thing I want to see is like a pack of teenagers at my front door asking for candy, because that's probably asking for trouble. A pack of 50-year-olds? I don't know. I'll give them some candy. I think it's not when you should stop. It's when you should start back up again.
I feel like that's a little ageist. You know what I mean? You're
I
never too
don't
old
think-
to have a little fun. You can go to a Halloween, like a little teenager trick-or-treating fest or something, but you still can go house to house until high school.
Ooh,
Once you're out of high school, hey, if you want to go with the burden of someone probably seeing you, that's on you. But you should be okay until you're out of high school. Once you're out of high school, you should be hitting up the college parties, you know, the beer pongs and stuff like that during October fests and college.
I think the door-to-door needs to be left at home after 12. And then you just do parties. I like the party idea. You can still trick or treat this party, but it's got to be a bit more contained. You can't just be running free out here. You'll cause too much trouble.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I would have to agree with David. Like I think once you become a teenager, like 12, 13, you know, that's probably when you should stop doing the door to door and just start transitioning to like house parties.
All right,
Now,
I'll say 8th grade. What's the age? 8th grade, what? 14?
I still cut it off a teenager. Your teenage,
because
slick, it's easy.
You're in middle school before you transition to high school. I will it back. Before you transition to high school, I will it back. Because you still don't have that much option as a young kid to do. How many of your friends having house parties around Halloween? You're a teenage kid.
Well, yeah, you probably have to wait until like senior year of high school maybe for that. Actually, now that I think about it,
you know, and you have to be pretty cool to get invited to the party freshman year to the older party. So, what do you have to do? So you're just gonna just sit there with your boys, get a bunch of candies, and eat in the basement? Come on now.
Yeah,
we dress up, we go outside and go start a little ruckus.
We have your, you go bowling or something. You know, it's now the only exception I have this if you're taking a child. And like a smaller child, you can't be taking like a 12-year-old trick-or-treating when you're 16. That kind of just seems gross to me. But if you got like a 6-year-old with you, like a little brother, all right, let's go trick-or-treating here. Let's go door to door. I think that's a bit more acceptable than the that's a bit more acceptable than the actual, you know, you're 13, 14 just coming out and getting in hot and heavy. I don't know. I'm not buying it in the slightest. Oh man, that's looking real green.
What's Will today? Will, who are you? Who's that guy?
Heroes, dude. I'm a dead baseball team.
Give him the mic. Okay, I didn't hear him.
That's what you are.
Hand him the mic.
Should have put. We got to say for yourself.
I say that trick-or-treating should end when you can drive. So 16. That's like
16.
See, I like that.
See, that's a good point. I like that.
Real
That's
man
a good
comes up to
point.
my house trick-or-treating. I will protect my property.
So that's like for freshman year. Freshman year, you get your learner's permit. You know, after 8th grade, you're done trick-or-treating. I'll come back from high school to once you're out of 8th grade, that's it. That's your last season. You did homecoming, enjoy your last trick-or-treating with the fellas and the ladies. And then you start going to house parties in high school.
All right, Kemp, what do you think?
Adult trick-or-treating is going to the grocery store, trying to be healthy, and picking up a bag of candy of Reese's and eating it at home. That's what adult trick-or-treating is.
You want to take this chair?
That's true.
Oh man.
Like me for the liquor store, right? I be handing out candy. I make sure I stash my little candy stash at the side.
Absolutely. Ricky, you're right on point.
All right. Team Doug is ready to go.
All right.
Team Godzilla.
You guys will be able to hear you, but we're gonna get the game going here. Do. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And we are playing Friendly Feud. Today we've got this team versus that team. The right side versus the B side. So we have 7 questions queued up. The 7th one being a tiebreaker if necessary. So we're gonna do a count here between the two sides. You know, we're gonna keep count, keep score, and we'll see who comes out victorious. Doug is the reigning champ. He's got a full team with him now. Taking on David. David does not seem to do good at these, but
No.
he's gonna give it his best. So last thing I'm gonna grab is
I think this alien is trying to make out with me.
all right, so let's get to our first topic of the day. Please play along if you're joining us in the game. Jump into the comments. We want to get your thoughts. 70 people on Instagram took our survey. All right, first one to hit the buzzer. Ricky, Silent, you're going to be the judge to see who hits the buzzer first. Hey, Big Dog, we got to be able to...
He kind of needs that, help because he...
Well, we got to be able to see the buzzer, dog.
We'll see it.
All right. I'm just saying, if your judges don't see... All right. First one to hit the buzzer after it's called. Name a Halloween candy. I don't know. Is that early? Ricky, Silent.
Ricky,
You're the judges.
That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Godzilla seemed to hit it. Yeah, the
What's
right on
dinosaur?
time. Yeah.
I know.
I'll go with
All right,
Godzilla.
David.
Godzilla had it.
Yeah. I think
What are we
Godzilla
looking
had
at?
it,
Name
yeah.
a Halloween candy.
That'd be Kit Kat.
All right, Kit Kat is the number 4 answer. Going to the alien. Get that microphone as close to...
Reese's.
That's the number 2 answer. All right. Do you guys want to play it or pass?
We want to play, right?
We're gonna play. Let's play.
All right. They get 3 chances to guess what it is. Going to Dougie. Name a Halloween candy.
Snickers.
Snickers is the number 3 answer. Here, Marcus, you can keep it on this one.
I thought you was trying to say something else, Doug. My bad.
You gotta emphasize the essence. when you're
Yeah.
talking about it.
You emphasize the inners. I'm like, what's going on here?
Okay, so you guys have the number 2, number 3, number 4 answer. The only thing left is the number 1 and the number 5. All right, clicking it over to Kemperton. Can you name a Halloween candy?
Got to go with the OG. I guess it's the Hershey's chocolate bar.
Hershey's. Hershey's. And that's an X. Going to the alien, you got your first X.
Snickers.
Left on the board is number 1 and number 5. Name a Halloween candy.
Come on, alien. You've been to a lot of freak off where we had that candy.
M&M's is a good one. That's an Now, I want you guys to remember, for it to make it onto the survey, 70 people were surveyed. We needed to get a double answer. So at least 2 people needed to put it down to make it on there. All right, going to Dougie, 2 X's on the board. You can lose it here. Name a Halloween candy.
Candy corn.
Candy corn is the number 1 answer. Yes! All right, you've got number 5 still left. All right, so candy corn, Reese's, Snickers, and Kit Kat. Looking at the last one, number 5, Kemp. Can you name a Halloween candy?
I'm going to consult with Doug. We're going to go with the Take 5.
Take 5 bar? Okay. That was more.
Doug, take
that's out
6. That's an
Yeah, I didn't think that one was on there.
All right, clicking it over to the Dino Boys. You could steal it here. 1 still left on the board. Name a Halloween candy, Wilbur.
Starburst.
It's Sour Patch Kids. Dougie gets the point.
Go Team Alien!
All right, Doug, Will, the slappers, make it to the middle here. Click to the middle. Boom. All right, Ricky, Silent, you're going to be our judges. Who hits the buzzer first? Don't hit the buzzer until I'm
It's
done.
love. Hey, easy with the button. It's love.
Name a classic Halloween movie.
Halloween.
Boys,
Yeah.
I got Doug.
What? Get along, my God.
Premature too.
who we going with?
Who you got,
Yeah,
Silent?
Yeah, I think Doug had it here.
Oh,
He waited
wow.
until it's
Oh, wow.
He
I
waited
can do a
until
quick
I was
replay. Hold on. Yeah, it was Doug. It was Doug.
And for a Halloween movie,
All right,
I'm going to go with Hocus Pocus.
That's the number 1 answer.
Of course it is!
Doug,
It's the best.
Doug, do you want to play it or do you want to pass?
Play.
All right, they're going to play it. Click it on over to Kemperton. Kemperton, Can you tell me, name a classic Halloween movie?
I'm gonna go with Halloween.
I can't believe that was a number one.
That's the number 2 answer, so you got another one in the bank. All right, no X's on the board. Alien, name a classic Halloween movie.
Friday the 13th.
That's number 4. You guys are rocking down the list. All right, number 1, number 2, and number 4 off the board. There are 6 total. Doug Funny, can you name a classic Halloween movie?
Get that mustache off the goddamn
It's
screen.
the sweat through the makeup. All right, answer.
I'll go with Halloween Town, another Disney movie.
And you're
didn't
too
think
much
so.
of a chick for this, Doug. You get lucky one time. All right, Kevin.
Too old for Halloween.
Name a classic Halloween movie.
Scream.
That's 2 X's on the board. We're clicking on over to the Alien. All right, you guys have number 1, number 2, and number 4 off the board. You guys got to get one more to get it going.
Freddy versus Jason.
Wait, no, you said Freddy versus Jason, the movie, a classic Halloween movie.
No.
It's a damn good movie, though, I got to say. That is opening the door for the Godzillions to steal the point. All right, going to you. Going
If
to
they
you.
don't get it, Alex, come
Name
to
a
us.
What's up?
If they don't get it, come to us. See if me and Silent can get 1 or 2.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Name a classic Halloween movie.
Let's go with Friday the 13th.
You say it.
All right, Twitches.
Twitches?
The fuck is that?
What? Oh my god! Oh my god! I think having Steve is a handicap.
That might be how I beat David last
What?
Halloween.
All right, I'm gonna bring the mouse in. All right, boys, let me know. Can you take a guess? There's a couple more on the board. Dougie and the gang stole the points, but I'm gonna give you a chance. What's one guess, Ricky?
Did they say scary movie?
You know, one person out of 70 gave that one. So I'm with you. I thought that would have gotten more. Silent, can you give us a classic Halloween movie?
Freaky Friday?
What?
Friday.
Freaky Friday.
You are on crack. I'm not even
I want
acknowledging
those
that.
points.
Yo, Marcus, give us
what
one.
you got?
Scream 2.
If Scream 1 wasn't on, dog, Scream 2 ain't on.
Oh, Lee.
All right. The number 1 answer was Hocus Pocus. Doug got it. Number 2 was Halloween. Kemp got it. Number 3, Nightmare on Elm Street, folks.
Yeah,
Number 4, they got Friday the 13th. Number 5, making a surge, Ghostbusters.
Oh.
And number 6, an old classic, because guys, sorry to break it to you, we're old.
We are old.
Paranormal Activity.
Oh my god. I wouldn't even thought of
It
that.
would have been it too, Gladiator. I was thinking the same thing. We only had one person guess.
I was thinking actual Halloween movie.
Come on, those came
Scary
out.
movies are Halloween.
When I saw them, I was psyched because I loved Paranormal Activity when we were in high
I
school.
don't know. I really like Twitches. Or whatever the fuck they say.
brother.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
Whoa. All right, Doug's team is pulling away. I'm hoping the Godzillions can redeem themselves. All right, can we get the 2 alien? Oh no, it's Kemp and Stove. All right.
Take your hand off the buzzer.
It's not on the buzzer.
I have
Steve, move
replay
yourself.
ready.
Wait, David, move to the middle. There we go. There we go.
His hand's on the buzzer.
Nope.
He's cheating.
You want to look?
His hand is not on.
It's above.
If you're gonna hit it first, we're gonna give it to them. Just do it.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to hit the buzzer after I say the okay, ready? Name a classic Halloween monster. Stove.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is the number 1 answer. Do you guys want to play or pass?
Playing.
You're playing.
Good answer.
finally.
Good answer. Good answer.
Godzillions finally have a chance. All right, kicking it over to David. 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 David.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
I will
That
not
was the
be.
scariest thing in the episode.
I will not be intimidated.
All right, You've got the number one answer. Name a classic Halloween monster.
The Mummy.
The Mummy's the number two answer.
All right.
All right, clearing the board, clearing the board. Can Wilbur keep it going? Name a classic Halloween monster.
Ghostface. This dude from Scream.
I'm going to get... Oh, yeah, no. I got to give it to you. I was going to ask him to confer, but yeah, Ghostface being Scream. No. It was close, though. All right, name a classic Halloween monster. 1X on the board, Stove.
We're gonna go with Dracula.
The number three answer. Keeping it rolling. So walking down the list, there's 6. They got number 1, Frankenstein. Number 2, The Mummy. Number 3, Dracula. Moving to number 4, David. Can you name a classic Halloween monster?
A ghost.
No. I know what the answer is.
Excuse me, sir.
No. He didn't get that right. He didn't.
No,
get that
Marcus
right.
says no. Marcus gives him an
Thank you,
A.
Marcus.
All right. Going to Wilbur. 2 X's on the board. Name a classic Halloween monster.
This confused what's classic. I guess Jason Voorhees.
All right. This gives a chance for the Dougie squad to steal the point. This goes to the alien. There are 3 left on the board to steal the point. All they have to do is name one.
Yep.
Alien. It goes to alien.
Oh, goes to
Goes to
alien.
alien?
Oh.
Can you name a classic
was the
Halloween
answer.
monster?
Werewolf.
The Wolfman is number 4. We're giving it to you. Clearly, folks don't know what classic monsters are. All right, I'm going to go down the list here. There were 6 total, starting with Frankenstein, then the Mummy, then Dracula, the Wolfman, oddly enough, Michael Myers, and the Invisible Man.
Oh, I was thinking Casper might have been on there.
Hello, Michael Myers.
I thought Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I would have given it to him.
I'm trying to figure out how the Invisible Man is like a classic.
Well, no, we also had
That's like
Zombie
old
2 as a
Universal movies. Like it's bare.
Zombie.
It's not a classic for anybody that's alive in this room. That's for sure. But anyway,
Did your uncle answer that?
probably yeah, him and his old folk friends.
I liked it when the pictures didn't have sounds.
All right, this one comes back to the top. Talk about a 3-point sweep. Can the green folks do anything here? Aliens versus Godzilla.
Team Area 51.
All right, can you name a favorite Halloween color? I'm thinking it's Godzilla. What do you guys
That
think?
one was us.
Oh, just that one.
Silent Ricky?
I think Godzilla.
Hold
too.
on.
Yeah.
Watching the replay. Watching the replay.
Hang on, Ricky's watching the replay. Let him watch.
I'm watching the replay. Give me 3 seconds.
That's already
Two.
declared.
We get instant replay. They're
There's-
the judge.
You don't have
The
a
replay is coming.
Yeah, where is the flag?
this flag challenge earlier?
All right,
It
Godzilla.
is God's. Oh no, it's Godzilla. Yep, Godzilla got it
all right.
by a
Godzilla.
split
Thank
chance.
you, New York.
Name a favorite Halloween color. Yeah, Gene Steratore messing it up after the call after anyway, as always. All right.
favorite Halloween color?
Yes.
Orange.
Orange is the number 1 answer. You can either play or pass. There's 3 on the board. Do you want to play or
there's
pass?
3 colors on the board.
3 colors. You've got one of them.
Let's play it.
They're going to play it going to Will. You've got orange. There's 2 more colors. Hit it. Lay it on us. Name a favorite Halloween color.
Yellow.
What the fuck world do you live in?
It's candy corn, asshole.
I'm going to give you a...
Oh, Lee will.
Am I wrong?
Yellow's not Halloween.
Let's go candy corn. 3 colors.
Yellow's like summer.
For real. Yellow's like some. All right. Stove. Lay it on us. Name a favorite Halloween color.
We're just gonna go with purple.
That's number 3. All right. So you've got the number 1 answer and the number 3 answer.
Don't let it get back to me. I don't know what the fuck.
All right. Godzilla. Name a favorite Halloween color.
Black.
They swept the points. All 3 back on
Woo!
the board.
There's only 3 options, and it took them 4 people.
Just happy to be here. Just happy to be here.
Yellow. All right, gang. I need the judges in the wing in the pickle gallery. Eyes tight. Focus.
Don't block me, Alex. They need to see my buzzer.
All right.
Hey, don't worry. I got the replay ready, brother.
Score is 3-1. Wilbur, Dougie, can you name an activity you do on Halloween?
I hit it, but it didn't light up. I hit it, but it didn't light up.
Did you hit the buzzer? No.
It didn't light up.
It was Doug first. It was Doug first, but his didn't light up.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
hit
a
it
loss.
first, see?
Well, name an activity you do on Halloween.
Trick or treat.
Looking at the number 2 answer, Doug can steal. Doug, can you name an activity you do on Halloween?
We're gonna go with dress up.
All right. Do you guys want to play or pass?
Let's do it.
All right, going to Stove. Stove, can you name an activity you do on Halloween?
Give out candy. Give out candy, buy candy, same thing.
Yep. Nope, right on. That's the next one.
Me and the judge confer, and you're saying giving out candy.
Yeah, it's a trick or treat.
Isn't that trick or treating then?
Yeah, no, we're drawing. That's an.
No, you're trick or treating. You go get the candy. You give out the candy. You're sitting on the
Right.
stoop,
So giving out candy is not it. I got to tell you, heartbreaking. There's still a number 1 answer on the board that toes that line. I'll give the room a hint. All right, going to Godzilla. 1X on the board. Name an activity you do on Halloween.
Watch scary movies.
Marcus.
We got a second opinion over here?
Hey, you'll hear it all at the end. I'll hear your
Oh, I
opinions.
can't wait to hear what
There will
the
be
hell
no
it is.
shortage of opinions.
It's watching horror movies. That's scary.
All right, 2 X's. Astros King. Can you name an activity you do on Halloween?
Scare kids.
I'm going to give it to you. Go to a haunted house.
Yes. Come on, bitch ass.
No. Scaring a kid means you're at your home trying to scare a kid. A haunted house means you actually go to a haunted house.
Yes.
Are you employed by the?
Yeah, is he working for the haunted house?
We
Like,
in fact
working for
worked by
Godzilla.
we in fact worked at a haunted house
I
once,
think
and we
this is
scared
rigged.
children.
Exactly.
Someone
Those
didn't
were
want
my
us to
thoughts.
shut them out.
Listen, there's so many of these, or they're close to the line that it's like I gotta give a break somewhere. All right, there's one on. So you got eat candy was number 1, and you've got the last one, number 5. Go to a haunted house. Oh fuck. Well, that's off the board.
We swept it.
Yeah, you say
No, there's still more. There's still more. You
Yeah,
gotta
you
guess.
gave away the one we knew.
Well,
You suck.
well, they weren't paying attention. All right, so number 2 was trick or treat, and number 5 was go to a haunted house. So going
What
to
numbers are left?
Don't tell them.
1, 3, and 4.
I ate candy on the
Dude, they
Halloween.
would have never gotten
Well,
that.
guess what? They did.
Yeah, because you suck as our host.
I think he's doing a great job. Just like the dude from Narcos.
Hey, come on, y'all. Alien team, keep the love in the place.
As soon as
Exactly.
Doug starts losing, he starts crying.
And he's still winning. That's Doug. All right. Going
Because
to
I want to
Godzilla.
win an absolute victory.
All right, you've got number 1, eat candy. Number 2, trick or treat. And number 5, go to haunted houses. We're looking for number 3 and number 4. Give us your best guess.
Have a Halloween party.
All right. I believe that's it. So we're kicking over to the gang. You get 1 try to
Good luck.
steal.
What you think you do on Halloween apparently is not what you do on Halloween.
Hey, go eat candy.
Jerk off, I guess.
That's number 3.
All right, going to who's the representative? It would be
I think it's
Kemp.
actually probably Kemp's. Yeah.
Kemp.
I'm gonna go with it. We're gonna say carve pumpkins.
Pumpkin carvings, number 3.
That's actually a good one.
You know we're all a bunch of dudes because we don't do that.
Well, and you should do it before Halloween,
Yeah.
not the day up.
Yeah, no, but apparently.
What was number 4? Decorate?
Number 4 was a corn maze.
Even with getting almost robbed, we stole it.
Whoever voted on these things suck.
Yeah, well, hey, I want to say thank you to everybody that took the survey. We appreciate your time and we appreciate you giving us your patience. I'm still going to do it. The score is 4-1. We're going to give this one the opportunity to be double points just to see if we could bring the Godzillions from the back or just bury them worse. So,
What is the double point? We have one
Stove,
point.
get in the frame. Kemperton, you're up. Get that buzzer in frame because you don't want to miss out.
Don't you jip
Going
me.
to number 6, double points here. Can you name a black-colored food?
I'll go to the replay, Gene.
I kind of think that was Kemp.
I think that was
What?
Yo, give me the
Yeah,
replay.
that was Alien Team, but check the replay.
All right, Kemp, name
replay.
a black-colored food.
I'm gonna go black licorice.
That's the number 1 answer. Do you guys want to play or pass? We had to bring back a Halloween classic, if you guys remember.
Yeah, we'll play.
No, say it.
No, I need you to know all of these things were in this year's survey. So
Oh, so
I'm-
there were the last year's?
that wasn't on either. That was just an honorable mention. So I wouldn't be dumb, but
All right, then.
I gave you enough. Name a black-colored food, alien. Beans is number 3. All right, name a black-colored food. Number 1 and number 3 are off the board. We're looking for 2 and 4. Can you name a black-colored food, Dougie?
I don't know.
Doug, you got to give an answer.
Black cat stew. It was an honorable mention from last year, so I figured I had to.
That's why we had to bring this topic back. We had too much fun with it. All right, 1X on the board. 2 more open. Kemp, can you give us a guess?
I'm gonna go with the colored. It's not black, but colored corn. Like the
Kemp likes black
can of
corn.
corn.
No.
Can of corn.
Can of
Can of
corn.
corn, I'll be fine.
I don't know what corn Kemp gets, but it's not good. All right, alien, there's 2 X's on the board. Name a black-colored food. You got a chance here.
That rub on them.
A what?
Chocolate cupcake. Chocolate cupcake is the alien's answer.
All right, it's going over to. It
That was
technically
not
still
bad
didn't,
what I
didn't get
mean.
the guess. So confer. Name a black-colored food. This is your chance to come back and win it all.
Dang, the alien ain't letting them breathe.
We're going to go with dark chocolate.
Team Alien, baby!
Yeah, I like that team alien. I like that.
Doug's happy again.
Hey, Ricky, what do you got for us? What are your guesses? Name a black-colored food.
Black velvet cake.
Silent, what do you got for us?
Sorry, Rick, it's called red.
Black pudding.
All right, the name of black-colored food, number 1 was licorice. Number 2 was olives. Number 3 was beans. And number 4 was caviar.
Ooh.
Oh, I would have never guessed
Only the
caviar.
fanciest here. Well, guys, I appreciate you giving us our time. Team Alien takes out the dub. Everybody, I want to say thank you for everybody who joined us on the Instagram and partook in the survey. It was a huge help. That's what makes these so fun. Thank you for everybody in the comments. Mike, Street Side, Just Another Day TV, everybody out there playing along. That was a great time. Guys, we go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m., so be sure to join us. Next week, I conceded for David. I was trying to fight algorithms, but because it's election season, they put us in timeout no matter what.
election,
and
baby.
I'm throwing it all to the wind. So next week, it's Tuesday. It's election day, and we're doing nothing but election content. It'll be fun. So be sure to join us because the whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved, add another dynamic to the perspective here. So thank you to everybody that joined us. If you're looking for one central place where you can find all of our content, that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. We've got our Sunday football review and our reactions channel. So be sure to join us this weekend. But otherwise, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. Guys,